Tape flanging is an interesting effect. It's produced by mixing two identical signals together, and one of the signals is delayed by a small amount of time, and that period of time gradually changes. And it creates a kind of swept comb filter type of effect, and that's created by having peaks and notches that are created as the frequency spectrums of the two signals overlap. They either amplify each other or cancel each other out to varying degrees. And varying the time delay causes these to sweep up and down the frequency spectrum. So here we've got the flanger module, and there's a couple of different modes. We set this to either LFO mode or manual mode, and we'll look at LFO mode to start with. We can invert the phase of the second signal, and we can set a different shape for the LFO that's going to be used to modulate the timing. And when we click this triangle, we get some additional controls here relating to the LFO. So here I'm going to run this through a drum loop, and I'm going to engage this latency compensation button here. And I'll just start with the default setting here, and I'll play this and bring it up. So you can already hear it sweeping through. There's the shape. We can morph it, as you can see. May have an effect on the peaks and notches that are created. And this is, again, adjusting the shape. And we can modulate these. Phase adjusts where the LFO starts. We'll invert the phase. We'll get a lot of canceling there. And then swing. Again, just the timing of the peaks and the shape. Now when I click there, I get the regular values here. So the rate can be synced to tempo when I click this little sync icon on top. So you can get it faster. And then the depth of the delay between the two decks. But slower is the traditional classic sweeping effect. You can modulate the depth by automating it. And this sets the delay time before any feedback. And then we can feed the signal back in and get a ringing type of effect. Let me just slow this down. You get that kind of resonating effect. And this is, again, the compensation for the playback filter. And when this is off, we can get real instability. I'll do this very carefully. Watch your ears. It can be fun to modulate that or automate it. And we can blend it in parallel. We'll drive the signal a bit. And a bit of grit there. This is kind of a clinical look at it on a drum loop, but of course you can use this. I'm using it on keyboards in some of the earlier examples. It'll work on guitars, vocals, all kinds of sounds. Now we also have the manual mode, and here we get a flange control, which adjusts the instant kind of relative delay between the decks. And then the fade adjusts the fade duration at the beginning and end of the flanging. So it's just a different way of controlling it. But with the LFO, we can get really interesting variations of the shapes. and different timing. And as I'm driving, you hear the effect of the distortion on the kick. So a little bit of it, and some nice kind of sweeping variation. Here's one of the key Suite Electric parts I used in an earlier video, and I've got a preset to start with. I'm going to turn off the noise, so we can vary the shape. Turn the mix up. And the symmetry. It's a nice detuned effect. Less mix. And I'm going to add a lower Phi sound from the tape emulation. So that's really lovely sounding. And another preset is this one here. So again, we can modulate the shape to get a harder kind of phasing, like a square wave. You can hear it jumping back and forth. And the rate is every bar. Now that's unnatural, of course. There we go. A little smoother. More angular. And again with the lower tape quality. Finally, here's another keyboard part with the manual setting, and I'm automating the flange, the delay between the two signals, and I'm automating the depth as well. And when this is going faster, I'm lowering the depth, and when this is going slower, I'm raising it. We'll continue with more in the next video.